Bonjour à toutes et à tous les amis et bienvenue sur la chaîne YouTube de So Catch by All. J'espère que vous allez bien. Très heureux aujourd'hui de vous retrouver avec The Machine, Brian Cage. Ooh. Hello Brian, how are you doing?
I'm good, doing all right.
Yeah,
all right.
good.
Yeah.
First time in France?
It is, very first time, very first time.
So when did you know like you were like a machine, not a human, but a machine?
I don't. You know what? That not a catchphrase, but that moniker was actually given to me by Excalibur while I was in PWG. He just would start calling me an effing machine. I would do certain maneuvers, and it just caught on, and I made a T-shirt out of it, and people liked it, and boom, there it is. Okay. So I guess that would be like 2010, I guess.
The machine.
That's
the machine is born.
That's it.
If I want to become like a machine, what do I need to do?
Kill yourself. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm gonna work hard. Come on.
Well, sure. Well, I mean, you could be, like
half machine. Half machine is
like,
okay.
Yeah, like a hybrid solar power kind of thing.
Okay, I'm going for that. That's easier. Okay. Who were your inspiration growing up?
Growing up, Shawn Michaels and Razor were both huge influencers and people I wanted to, or that inspired me, I guess, to be a wrestler. And then as I got older and was kind of more keen to it, as far as people I wanted to emulate or like, be like in the ring, it was the three Chris's. It was Chris Benoit, Chris Kanyon, and Chris Jericho.
Okay. My next question is, what do you think about the evolution of pro indie wrestling in the last years? Because it becomes like more important, I feel.
Oh, for sure.
All the
Actually,
time?
I was just having this conversation with a fellow up and comer indie wrestler about how it's I don't want to say it's much easier now, but like it obviously like indie wrestling is a thing. Like, I mean, when I was coming up through the indies, obviously that was just kind of your trade show and the way you kind of owned your craft and started to get somewhere to try to get somewhere, if you will. But like now, being in the indies is a cool thing, and you can make an actual living in a buck. Before I was lucky if I could break even on gas. Like it wasn't a place to get any income. It was just an experience thing. I always related it to like an indie rock and roll band. You know what I mean? You're going around just kind of making a name for yourself and just opening whatever venue you could be, and usually paying for it or paying to get there. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like you were making any money off it. But like now there's several guys making a pretty good living just off of indies, so it's crazy.
Okay, so you think like indies is enough to get a living, and
there's plenty of people that are doing all right on just the indies, which is crazy. I mean, it's awesome, and I think too it's its own little niche market. Like you have so many different companies that you can work for and stuff, but then at the same time, like even if you work for a major company, there's still like a separate market on the indies that's still like tappable to get additional income from.
Yes.
So it's remarkable of like how many ways there is to make a living off of wrestling now all around the world. It's crazy. Like most people think, oh, it's just WWE, or nothing.
Yeah.
No,
that was the case like 5 years ago. I would say.
Now there's several avenues. It's crazy.
Yeah. And how much time did it take for you? Did it take for you to make a living, a complete living of wrestling?
I think it was probably 2013, I was doing okay, but it was probably 2014 that like I think was like making like a pretty good income solely off just wrestling. Okay. So 2013 was pretty good, but I wasn't just solo wrestling, but it was going all right. And 14 I think was the big game changer from then on. So
okay. Money is not just the important thing. The important thing is also personal life. What did you manage to spend some time with, like your family and especially your children? Oh man, it's
rough. That is a big sacrifice you have to make. I obviously I have two kids. I have a 13-year-old son and a 19-month-old daughter. She's actually here in France with us, and going around. The second time I'm trying to make certain corrections and spend a little bit more time that I can. I'm gone more often, but I'm established. It's a little easier to spend more time with my daughter. Whereas my son, unfortunately, I was so young, and it was, I just wasn't mature enough anyways then at that moment. But it's what happened, and I wouldn't change that at all. But I was also just telling some of my story about how when my son was 6 months old, I got the opportunity to go to Deep South Wrestling, which was a developmental territory at the time.
Yeah.
And it was uncontracted, but it did lead to me
it was
getting...
Atlanta?
Yep.
Yep.
And it did lead to me getting signed, but it was hard because I had a decent like paying job. You know, I was with my son's mom. My son was 6 months old. And I was like, man, I can't leave. But at the same time, I was like, if I don't leave, like, 5 years from now, I could be working the same job going, man, woulda, coulda, shoulda, what would have happened? And I only went with the blessing of my son's mom, because without her giving me the okay, I don't think I would have had the nerve to have just been like, oh, see you. Because I wasn't leaving them like, oh, see you later, I'm out of here. Like, I wanted to have her blessings to go there, and knowing full well I was still going to support them. Like, and even then, I made a lot of sacrifices as far as, leaving my home, my family, my son, but also I was sending any and all cash I was making out there to them, and then I was just pretty much living off of credit cards to get by. So, like, I racked up a tremendous amount of debt. I think I was like $20,000 in debt. Whoa. After, like, everything was said and done. But, fast forward several years later, and I was in that much debt because of wrestling, but because of wrestling, I'm completely debt-free, so can't complain.
Okay. Let's switch the subject. I discovered you on Lucha UnderGround.
Yep.
Do you think that Lucha UnderGround that made you famous?
Absolutely, that helped break a lot of barriers. I mean, I think the first big blowout, or me, people knowing me, was from PWG. I think that's a lot of indie guys' first big, breakthrough moment. But yeah, Lucha UnderGround definitely helped put me on the map, and especially because it was such a cool, unique show.
Yes, it is.
I mean, even right now we're doing this meet and greet, and people are talking about it. Like, I was just at the last StarCast a few weeks back, and I'm the current Impact World Champion, and still everyone was talking about Lucha UnderGround, from 2016. Like, it just reached so many people, and it was so unique and different, and everyone enjoyed it so much. And there were so many like non-wrestling fans that were still fans of Lucha UnderGround just because of the aspect of how it was filmed and presented. So, and it, even then, it was probably the most fun thing I've done in my career too. It was. Okay. I don't know if anyone's going to be it. Those first few seasons were just awesome to be part of. So it sucks that it's just kind of
instant die.
It's like kind of just dead in the water now, and it was just too many chefs in the kitchen, I guess, was really what came down to it, and a lot of people like working together or really knew what they wanted to do, because there's so many people outside of wrestling that get control of it. So,
yeah, that's the problem.
Had it been I guess managed a bit better, it would still be going strong, because it had, I think, maybe the best roster I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
The creativity, the writing was great. There's just so many. There was very few negatives and so many positives about it. And then one negative was just, no one could really get along with it. And then also
the contract stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, it's not even the people with the powers that be were the ones that were fighting over everything. And then the contract stuff kind of shed some bad light on it too at the end of it.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much gone, and that's why it became a problem, because a lot of people were wanting to go work elsewhere, because this wasn't, they basically were refusing to announce that, like, okay, we're done, because they didn't want to let anybody out, just in case there's that small glimmer of hope, it comes back, but it wasn't look like it was going to go anywhere. And it sucks. I wish we could have at least one more season.
Yeah, to finish.
Yeah. Because that cliffhanger at the end of season 4 was so.
Yeah,
good.
I'm like, wait for it, isn't it? And they're nothing.
Bummer.
Yeah.
But
so you really enjoy your time there?
Yo, absolutely. I mean, it was just so much fun, and I didn't know what to think too. Even when I signed on there, I was excited, but at the same time, I kind of thought, like, man, I'm going to show up. It's going to be like WSX, the MTV2 wrestling show that was, it was cool for like 2 weeks, and just became a big cluster and just flopped real quick.
I felt like in some ways it was like similar to Wrestling Society X, but it was also very different.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I mean, I think just because it had like a TV show aspect. That was one thing I quoted myself so many times in every interview, saying that it was a TV show about wrestling. It wasn't a wrestling show on TV. Like, that's the difference.
Exactly. Okay. What's your best encounter there, except Melissa, of course?
I would say too. Yeah, that's where I met my wife. So I mean that's got to be a plus. I don't know. There's so many, there's just probably one of the biggest things that made it so cool too was the coming from developmental too, after leaving WWE and been around so much, and people talk about politics and this and that, and everyone trying to get ahead of everybody, stab people in the back and whatever. I mean, that kind of shenanigans happens in all walks of life and in every career. But I really felt like Lucha UnderGround was one of the most just honest to goodness places to be where everyone was just working diligently together to steal the show, to have the best match possible, to have the best product possible, because it was going to benefit us all. There's nobody like gunning for anybody else's spot or like being like, oh, you can or can't do that. Like everyone's just like, hey, go out there and kill it and have as much fun that you can. And I feel like everyone, it was the most team camaraderie I think I've had in the locker room.
Okay. Lucha UnderGround is also like famous because they did some very cool intergender matches.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Well, I thought intergender worked really well there. And that was actually my very first one too with Taya.
I think that's the best intergender match I've ever seen.
It was, and that was, and I remember too, I was supposed to work John, and John actually hurt his foot the day before at tapings, and he came up and he goes, hey, you're working Taya now. And I laughed. And he goes, no, I'm serious. I go, shut up. And he goes, no, I hurt my foot, I think I might have broke it, whatever, like, so you're going to work Taya. I'm like, in the street fight? And he goes, yeah. I go, I'm going to kill her. What are you talking about? But, like, it worked so well there, not because the audience is so rabid and so awesome, but also, just, again, because it was a TV-based show rather than a wrestling-based show, it's funny, because then it blurs the lines of reality that much more that it makes it more real. That makes sense. Like if you're watching Walking Dead, you're not going, oh, these zombies aren't real. It's not presented as real, so you're suspending belief and just being entertained. So since it's not being presented as a real life, it's like a real live sporting event type of deal. It's it's a TV episode. Sexy Star was like curling 225, whatever. Like everybody's like basically like superhuman or superpower. So it made it work so much better than I thought. It made it a lot more believable. Okay,
you talked about Taya. I liked her very well. I think she's really talented. Who do you think is the current best female wrestlers in the world right now?
Oh, the best.
Tough question.
I'm sure has gotten this praise a lot of times in the biggest breakout. I think it probably has to be Tessa Blanchard. I'm really good friends with her too, and she's just not only is she like awesome, so ahead of her experience level, but also she's still very young in the game too.
Yeah.
There's plenty of awesome females. Since Tessa and Tyra both are Impact, but also one of my personal favorites. I love Kiera Hogan. I like her a lot. And then maybe my favorite, although even though I think Tessa might be the best, my favorite might be Britt Baker, which I feel like doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, she's really good as well. I liked her.
But there's still a lot. Even the AEW that women's battle royal. There's a lot of female talent that are really good that I think a lot of people don't realize or haven't seen as much of.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Do you think like WWE kind of regrets now that they released you back to 2019 of FCL?
Yeah.
FCW, sorry.
Yeah, I got
FCL.
I don't know. It's not like there are companies, struggling without me there. They're doing all right.
Yeah.
I know. I remember. I tell a story too. I remember when I got the phone call and I was actually expecting a raise, and everyone. It was rumored that someone was getting called up that week, and everybody thought it was going to be me. So I missed the call from the office. I was ecstatic. I'm like, oh my God, is my raise? Am I getting called up? Am I getting both? Like, oh my God, yes. Call him. I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, hey, how you doing? I'm great. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Yada yada. And he goes, well, this is kind of one of the bad parts about the job. We're going to come to terms with your release. And I go, I had the phone in my ear, and I look at it, and I go, did you call the right number? Like, completely dumbfounded. Like not even trying to be like an arrogant ass about it. I'm like, wait, what? You're going to release me? Like, though it did nothing for me, it did, give me added comfort in the fact that like pretty much everyone at FCW
was released at the time.
No, was messaging me going like, this is the most
nuts.
BS release I've ever seen. Like, I can't believe why are they releasing you? So, that made me feel better. But it is what it is, and my goal was to get signed by WWE by the time I was 24, so I accomplished that. That's when I got signed there. Obviously, I didn't go, headline WrestleMania, which is what we all wanted to do. And I was talking to Cross earlier. You guys mentioned about how everyone's like desire was to be in WWE at some point. But I also feel like that's because that's all there was. You know what I mean? Like, you're watching it. You weren't a kid growing up going, oh, I can't wait to go to Ring of Honor because it wasn't around. So
at the time, like WWE was the only stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to be a football player in American football, you want to go to NFL.
You're not going to say, of course.
So that's why it was everyone's dream, because that's all there was. But now that there's so much more out there, it's not for everybody. There's plenty of avenues you can go and do just as well, if not better than. So.
Okay, you talk about WWE. we can also mention AEW.
Sure.
And as you say, like right now, there is different option. Any plans to join WWE or AEW in like the months to come?
You know, there's no. I don't have like resentment where like I'm like nah, f that place to any place, or you know, refuse to go anywhere. I'm willing and open to work with anyone or any place, just pending what all the negotiations would be. So, so I mean, with that being said, there's you know, I'm signed with Impact Wrestling right now. I'm the current world champion, so I'm happy and fully content right there, and I'm fully content in staying there. Or you know, in the future, if doors open up and something's you know green on the other side, then maybe that'll be the case. So at the moment, you know, contractual too, I would legally be allowed to talk to anyone. So, but. Definitely, you know, there's always a possibility, and as they say in wrestling, never say never. So we'll see.
When is your Impact contract finishing?
Next year.
Okay, yeah. So you still got some time to go. Okay, correct. How much do you think like AEW will change the game? Will it change the industry?
I think so the big deal. I was going to say about Lucha UnderGround too. Another big negative they had was the channel. LA was a cool channel, but it was such a niche channel and a new channel, so the availability wasn't there. Like if Lucha UnderGround would have been on USA. I feel like it would have been just as good or better than Raw would have.
Yeah.
So that's the big game changer about AEW, isn't that their product, which, I mean, the shows have been great. They obviously haven't produced a weekly TV show yet. I don't see it being bad, but regardless of being good or bad, their biggest benefit is that it's on a channel that everyone has access to. Like, if you want to watch Ring of Honor or Impact or MLW even, or you already pretty much have to be a fan and know where it's on and how to watch it, and like you can't accidentally become a fan. It's like you have to be a fan to be able to watch it. Whereas AEW has the ability now to capture the general household, the general public, which is the masses, which is what you need to have to succeed. So,
it makes a difference, I think.
Absolutely. So that would be hopefully a big game changer. I mean, I think it'll grab a lot of attention off the gate, and I mean, and then it just depends on how well they can put together a weekly TV show and how well it can keep.
Yeah, I think this will be like the major things that everybody's waiting to see.
Sure.
It's like just wait and see.
I mean, too, like wrestling fans are so critical too. They're awesome fans, but at the same time they're also the most whiny fans of all. Like anything, like they're just always so unhappy. Like
that's what I do for a living,
right? You know, I feel like fans want to complain about stuff more than like enjoy what's there. But because with that too, like even though there's a lot of people singing AEW's praises, and there's people hating it too, like you're not going to be able to like any product all the time.
Of course, like 100%.
Yeah, no. Like I actually feel like, and being completely unbiased, even though I'm part of the roster, I actually feel like creatively, Impact's probably one of the most consistent products as of late. But even then, of course, there's plenty of hits and misses. You know, not everything's great, but overall, I feel like it's been the most consistent product. But still, even then, you're gonna have some stuff that's like, it's kind of dead, that's dumb, that doesn't make sense, whatever. But I mean, you take the good with the bad. It's not, you can't have, you're not gonna have a double or nothing event every Wednesday night.
Of course, makes sense, of course. Okay, and last question: what are your project for 2020?
This year's gone. Last year was great, and the year before that was great, and this year I think has been going even better. So, I mean, my main.
2018 was great for indie pro wrestling.
Oh, sure.
2019.
So,
delightful.
I mean, next year I would aspire to have everything about my career be that much. It's been going forward, and it's been moving ahead. So as far as amount of matches I'm working and where I'm working for and how much I'm working for and everything. I want everything to keep on going forward, and I don't see any reason why that would not be the case. So
okay, thank you very much for your time. You know what? I let you do the outro. I'm gonna train to become an elf machine.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you're alone. Just do it.
Just any outro I want.
Yeah, you can.
All right, guys, thanks for checking in here. This is the F Machine, the Swolverine, Mr. GMSI himself, Brian Cage. I just had a hell of an interview. Of course, I was part of it, so it was that good because they answered the question, who better than Brian Cage? Well, that's nobody.
Sois sûr de t'abonner à la chaîne en cliquant sur ma tête et regarde aussi les autres vidéos en cliquant à gauche. Allez, abonne-toi. Allez, abonne-toi mon pote. On est là pour ça.